So the first thing that we're going to be wanting to do before we actually take the back plate off is to get this little door off of the unit. So we're going to get the one screw here. Easy enough. Now this part should just lift up and out relatively easily, and you can just slide it off. Put that off to the side. Now there is one clip in here. We're going to depress the lever on that clip and just walk it away from the power board. Comes right out, and we can set our power cord off to the side, and then we can actually start to remove the rest of the back of this Bravia unit. This is the full back of this SONY Bravia unit. And if you notice, the color does change here from this middle piece to the outside edge. That is because this piece right here is what we're going to be removing to get to the boards in the back. And there are relatively few screws here. There are 4 right here in the middle, 2 on the far right and left side, 2 in the inner right and left side, and then 1 right here on the main board, and we should be able to lift this unit away. There are clips that are keeping the back on here, so we're going to have to use the spudger. If you don't have a spudger, you can use something similar at home. This is the tool that I'm talking about. You can use that to get underneath and pry that back away. But let's get these screws out and we'll get started. So, after we have the screws removed, we are going to start prying the back plate away. I would start here at the bottom, just lift up, and as you can see, it kind of like gives you just a little bit of room here, and then slide your fingers up and you hear those clips popping away from the board, or from the back of the television rather. These are going to be pretty easy. Not a whole lot goes into that. Now the clips here at the top may cause you a little bit of issue, and that's what I was going to say. If you need to use your spudger, that would be the place to do it. But those are just kind of set into the chassis with clips that go straight up the side. So we might be able to just rock it back off of those clips like so, and you can lift the whole thing up and away. We did before lift this back up off of here, so it was a little bit easier for us. This spudger will help you a lot, especially with these clips along the side and these along the top. But yeah, that's going to be it for the back of the television. First up is the main board. What we're going to do first is get these plastic pieces off the side. They come right off there, no problem at all. This one I do believe is going to be a little bit more affixed, but we should be able to let that go for now. So let's get these clips. This one back here, this is our micro USB, and I'm getting this one out first just to give us a little bit of room. This clip right here you can unlatch if you need to give yourself a little bit more wiggle room with your cabling. So this one right here we're going to push down on the right and left sides. We're going to squeeze down, which releases those clasps, and you should be able to pull that right away. These 2 ribbon cables are going to be just a little bit different. We do want to make sure that we're depressing the buttons on the right and left side. There's one button here and one button here that we need to make sure that we're pushing down, and then we should be able to walk that ribbon cable right out of there, no problem. Same thing with this guy. We're going to push down on the 2 buttons, and that comes right out of there. We do want to be gentle, not cause any stress or damage to these ribbon cables here. This one we're going to pull up with our fingernail. It has a little flap that pops up, comes right out of there. This is going to be a clip that we're going to depress with our thumbnail, and I don't have a lot of room to work with here. We're going to try and get a little bit better angle at this. So we're going to push the clip down with our finger and then slowly walk that out of the main board. Same thing with this one. This one's going to be a lot easier, a lot more room to play with. Now we just have the screws and we should be able to lift this up and away. And I did run into my first hitch in our plan here, which was to get the screws out first. It does appear there was one screw underneath this plastic piece right here. There are 2 clips on the right and left side that kind of latch this to the main board. If you use your fingers to kind of like release those latches, you can just pull this right away. Now we can have access to this last screw. Now we are finished taking the main board out. There's a little bit of adhesive, but as long as you give it just a little bit of firm pressure, it comes right out. Next, we will be doing the T-Con board. Now, there are a few clips and things like that we want to get out first. This guy is going to be where we push down on the clip and then pull it away from the T-Con. It's pretty simple stuff there. These 2 cables right here, we're going to pinch down on the 2 clasps on the side, and then we're going to walk those slowly away from the T-Con board. This is kind of a tight quarters here, and these are going to be pretty stiff. But if you just pinch down and then slowly walk those away, and you do want to make sure that you are grabbing the actual metal plug here and not this ribbon cable. So once those are out, we can actually start working on these screws right here, and then we're going to work on these screws right here. So we can get these and these out, and then we're going to get these various plugs as we go. So with those out, this plastic piece right here should lift up and out, and there's not going to be a whole lot of room to work with here, but if you can see, there's a series of plugs on the back that we're going to want to get out, and you just pinch them down, and they should be able to walk them right away. These are no problem at all. They've got little latches. Just use your thumbnail or your thumb to push those down. Same thing with this guy right here. We're going to want to depress that latch and then slowly walk that away from the Wi-Fi board. Get a little bit better angle. And that pops right out. This antenna pops right off of the little piece there. Do be gentle that we're not removing that as well. So let's get these two screws out and we'll get the Wi-Fi board out. All right, so we can set this Wi-Fi board off to the side. Now we do have a series of smaller screws that are going around this plate. We are going to want to use a number 1 fine tip screwdriver to get those out. We don't want to risk stripping those out or having any damage to the screws that would prevent them from going back in. Now that we've gotten those out, we do want to be mindful of these two clips right here. We're not going to be able to lift this up and pull it away. We're just going to want to pull it up a little bit and then fold it off to the side, which then exposes the actual T-con board here. We do have 3 more screws, but first these 2 ribbon cables. We're going to pop those up with our fingernail and just those slide right out, no problem. Let's get these screws and this T-con board will be away. This should just come right up and out, and that's the T-con board. Moving on to the LED driver board, we are going to get these ribbon cables and this clip out first. Let's get this clip out first. We're going to push down on this little lever right here, which then releases that and it comes right out. These are all going to be the same. We're just going to use our thumbnail to pop these little black flaps up. And these just come right out of there. There's quite a bit of pressure. You see those, how they're bent like that. It could give you a little bit of issue. Just be patient with it. It's not a problem at all. Let's get these screws out and we'll be finished here. And that is going to do it for that LD board. We are going to be covering the power supply board last. There are just 2 clips that we want to remove here. We're going to depress this little flap with our thumbnail. Slowly walk that away from the power supply. Same thing with this guy right here. Use our thumbnail to depress that flap, and it comes right out. Now we just have the screws, and this board will also be away from the chassis. And that's going to do it for the power supply board. That's going to do it for this board removal video today. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments section. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you do subscribe, you'll qualify for 20% off your first order through TV Parts Today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching another TV Parts Today repair video. If you have a question regarding your TV repair, post a comment and we will try to help. And don't forget, you can help us and stay up to date by subscribing, liking, and sharing our content. Also, check us out on Facebook for exclusive promo codes.